Hello, everyone. Hello. All right. So this video, first of all, I have to apologize for last night what happened on the Facebook. Probably is because the poor network connection. So everything was not so clear. So due to the poor network connection, this morning I actually checked all the live videos. It was horrible. So I really apologize for that inconvenience, guys. So today we are having a new session. So I will answer everything that you were asking yesterday. And at the same time, I will give you some extra tips and tricks and other stuff. Okay, so that laptop looks really horrible. It's a bit embarrassing about all the stuffs on the on the floor, so I'll just fix up a little bit. Okay, so I think this way is better. Good. Okay, so first of all, I have questions, so I'm waiting for you guys to join, everyone. Okay, so hello everyone. We have Numan, Salman, and Kamal, Santosh, Kiran. Yeah, all right. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining me today at this time. So first of all, I prepared my notes and I hope we're having a very good session today. So, okay, let's start from the first one. So we're starting from, okay, highlight correct summary. Ahmed actually have a question about the highlight correct summary in the listening part. So all of us have the same issue about highlight correct summary. So highlight correct summary in the listening part is actually considered one of the multiple choice choose a single answer. I believe a lot of you guys think it's not an important task because you just need to listen something and choose a correct answer. It is actually wrong. If you think that is not an important task, unfortunately, you are going to lose certain mark in your reading and in your listening. Why I say this? First of all, in this part, the question is called highlight correct summary. So it's actually another task of your summarize spoken test. So you're going to hear this audio. Instead of taking notes and write down a summary, someone else has done this. So 4 people has done this summary. Your job is to use whatever you hear those information to find out which one is actually better for the contents that you have for all the options. So for that one, you do have a lot of marks that you share with your reading. So make sure that you listen to the audio very carefully. And in all the listening part, apart from your summarized spoken test, apart from your fill in blanks, please do not take any notes. Multiple choice single answer, multiple choice choose multiple answer, highlight correct summaries, and select missing word, highlight incorrect words. You don't need notes. So just listen, pay attention to your listening, because end of the day, it is a listening task. So make sure you pay attention to your listening. And let's talk about the details about your highlight correct summary. All right, so first one, I got my notes ready. So here we go. So this is a page that roughly you can have a look in the real exam. So you will have this audio in here. Apart from the audio, you will have 4 different types of option in here. Okay, so you will have your options. So first of all, have a look. Your options are always in circles. Whenever you see the circles, that means they are your single choice. You only need to choose one correct answer. Okay, so what do you need to do? Before the audio actually start, you need to do something is to read the last option, last part of the sentence. Read the last option, the last part, the last line. It doesn't mean it's the last sentence. If the last option, last sentence is really long, forget about reading the whole sentence. Just read the last 12 or 10 words. Read the last option, last 12 or 10 words. That's it. And then the audio is going to start. Once the audio starts, you're going to pay attention to the listening. Listen like the way that you're listening an English story. So you listen everything. By the time the audio come to the 50%, by the time the audio come to halfway, you can tell yourself, I need to give a little bit of extra attention because there are more contents is coming, and you need to remember the information after the halfway. So when it's 50%, tell yourself, okay, concentrate. And then after that, by the time the audio come to the last 25%, last 25% is roughly the audio come to this part. Right, by the time the audio come to this part, you tell yourself, in anyhow, you have to remember the contents. So basically, it's the last one sentence or the last two sentences. So you need to use your brain to remember, what does this last part tell me? The last part is roughly this part. So my finger here. So when the audio come to this part, when the audio come to this part, you tell yourself, I need to remember this part of the contents. Okay, you remember this part of the contents. Keep in mind, remember the last one sentence or the last two sentences of the audio, and then you use the contents match the last sentence, last option first. Does this part of the content match with here? If it's yes, same content, then this is your correct answer. If it's not matching, you check this one, second last option. Does this part matches this part? If yes, it's your correct answer. If no, then it's your wrong answer. And if not, then check this one. This part matches this part. If not, check this part matches this part. Okay, sometimes what happens is there is certain words. So this is 50%. That's your last 25%. Okay, sometimes what happens is in this part of the audio, it's after 50%, but somehow before it reaches 75%, it's in here. So here. So 50%, here we go. Here. If, right? Here. Or here. Is everyone clear? Okay. So it's in here. If you see the little triangle over there, if somehow the information in the triangle part, you see that exactly same information appeared in one of your option last sentence. So if you see that triangle part appeared in here. If you see that triangle information appeared same in here. So that means the first option will be wrong because they consider the information in here as your conclusion part, then they will never be correct. So it is wrong. Okay. So it's always the last one sentence or the last two sentences content matches your option last part, the last 10 or 12 words, the content, and then that will be your correct answer. Okay. So I hope this will have a clear explanation for you guys to understand, highlight correct summaries. If you are not good, please go online. There are a lot of practices and try to practice the highlight correct summaries. It's really, really important for both your listening and also your reading part. Okay, this is that one. So we have done Ahmad, that's one. And after that, we have Kester Liang. So you have certain question about how to improve your pronunciation category. So I will put the pronunciation part at the really end. So currently we are starting from your listening. So we talk about listening first. So I will come back to you at the end about your speaking. Next one is about, I think is another question is about Kamal. Kamal, you have question about PT exam, summarize spoken test. So what is the best practice? For the summarized spoken test, okay guys, in the real exam for the listening part, you only have two major tasks. One is summarized spoken test. You might have two, you might have three. Another one is the rest of the question are the small questions that will form the rest of the exam. So that's two major tasks. One is summary, one is all the small questions. Even though dictation is important, but dictation is part of your small questions. So the summarized spoken test is really important for both your writing and also your listening. So you have a question that what I'm going to do is my notes. Should I type or should I take notes on the notebook? If I were you, I am going to write on the notebook because typing is something, anything can happen. So there is one example. I have one student, what happens to him was in the exam, the keyboard, there is a word about E is actually not working. So under this case, when you type it, you couldn't realize the E was not working. So under this case, you are going to make a lot of mistakes about your content. On top of that, sometimes when you have easy words, it's fine for you to type it. But what if you get a topic, it's about science, it's about methodology, it's about a lot of biology or geology, those content words. So it might be difficult for you to think about how to spell them. So because by the time you think about how to spell them, you might miss typing the other key contents. So the easiest way is to write your notes. So what I suggest to you is, for the summarized spoken test, when you write your notes, I believe a lot of you guys, you have questions about how am I going to write my notes about summarized spoken test. It's very simple. Summarized spoken test, I suggest you take notes like this way. So you draw a line and write down T, E, N, and C. So you know you need 4 key important parts. First of all, is T is your topic. You always need to write down your topic, because you need to tell whoever is reading your summary or whoever is checking your summary that you are talking about something very important. So your topic is number 1. So you have to mention your topic. It doesn't mean that you have to write down the very first sentence. Can be 2 words, can be 3 words, can be even up to 5 words. So that's your topic. In most of the cases, 5 words is enough for you. After the topic, which is after the very first sentence, the speaker always explains some details about the topic. You know, they were talking about today, 150,000 farmers in India have committed suicide. And the reason behind of this is farmers has been suffering a lot from death. And the high deaths push them to suicide. So this is actually the explanation of the topic, why they committed suicide. So under this case, yes, you can write at least 5 keywords about your explanation part. Okay, so write down the explanation part, which normally will be the second or the third sentence after the topic sentence. So you don't need to write a complete sentence, just the phrase, the keyword, that will do. Okay, after that, you are going to hear a lot of repeating sentences. For example, they say, so today, farmer committed suicide is a major issue. We don't need to write farmer committed suicide anymore because I have heard of this. And then they said, for solving these problems of farmer committed suicide, what we need to do is to build up this community seed banks. So you hear it again, farmers committed suicide. Again, you don't need to write them. You only need to write the new information. It's community seed banks. So we collect the seeds, multiply by it, and distribute it to all the areas in India. So what you need to hear here, you only need to get collected in India. That will do. So make sure that you write your new contents that is not repeating from here, neither here. Just something new. You write 1 or 2 points. 1 or 2 points is roughly around 10 words. That means each point 4 or 5 words, each point 4 or 5 words. This is normally around halfway of the audio. Okay, and afterward, conclusion is very simple. Every single person, whoever he talk or write, every person have the last conclusion part. So make sure that you write the last sentence as much as you can, because it's a benefit for you. You don't need to think about extra grammar problems or how to form a sentence. You simply just need to write whatever you hear over there with correct grammar and correct spelling. Okay, so make sure that you write your notes like this. And then it's really super clear for you. You know where to put it. And plus you have your formats and templates, and then you can write a very good summary. So for the summarized spoken test, if you are someone you need 50, it doesn't matter. You write 50 words, 55, no problem. If you're someone you need 65, you can write around 65 words, still not a problem. But sometimes when the audio is too short, you might only be able to write 58 words, it still be okay. So don't stress too much. If you somehow need 79, if I were you, I am going to write a little bit more, because 79 means you are capable of writing a little bit more and take a little bit more notes. So I will encourage you, if you need 79, 65 to 70 words, no less, no more. Okay, 65 to 70 words. But unexpected matter happens in the exam is the audio is really fast and you are a bit stressed. You are not able to write much of the contents. So under a case like this, if the audio is really fast, but the audio lasts 90 seconds, then you are able to write a 65 to 70 words. That means if you're not able, you're too slow in taking notes. So that's a matter of practice. If the audio really lasts really short, it's around, let's say, sometimes the audio can only last 50 seconds. So under this case, I understand you are not able to take your notes, but you must have your topic and your conclusion. The middle part, at least you have roughly these 2 key points. You have roughly around 10 words, that's enough. And you can there is a way you can expand your topic explanation and your conclusion by introducing structural words or grammatical words, or you can introducing a lot of words the speaker has mentioned about, the speaker puts forward, the speaker talked about, the speaker elaborated the main aspect of this content, and you can elaborate on top of that, so to make sure that you write a little bit more, around 60 or 65, 70, according to how many marks do you want for the overall score. Okay, so I hope this is really clear for all of you. And afterwards is your, let me see, your questions. So we have okay, Kamal have, okay, the writing part I will do it second one. Okay, so Nasim, I believe I just answered your question about if it's too short, the SST, you need to make it right. You only can write 50 words. So this is the case that you need to use your connectors, you need to use the structural words or introducing a lot of other words. The speaker puts forward a summary, including a certain topic about farmer committed suicide in India. And the speaker clearly mentioned about the key ideas related to seeds and chemicals, and including some important factors. And then afterwards, the speaker also demonstrated or illustrated the main aspect about the solutions regarding community seed banks. And then towards the end of the speech, the speaker actually mentioned certain important factors about globalization, climate change, and also the farmers are able to respond to the world's crisis and climates. So that's the way that you expand your summaries if you are only capable of writing 50 words. So by adding some extra words, I guarantee you can make it 60 or 65. Okay, so I hope this is helpful for you, Nasim. And next one. Okay, so as for the way of writing, if you are of Dream English students or Dream PT students, whether it's in Melbourne or Sydney, so there is a shortcut for you to improve your summarized spoken task writing. So I believe we actually shared with you guys the files of all the real exam questions. So in terms of the audios, and also we actually shared with you the file of the answers of sample answers of summarized spoken test. So the best way for you guys to read aloud of these sample answers, because it builds up the sense of writing and it helps you to understand the key contents and the certain difficult words of spelling. For example, they have Einstein, Hubble, and they have certain difficult words about biology. So in that case, you will be able to understand how to write them, the proper writing with certain words capital. So make sure that you read aloud all of the sample answers at least 10 times. Okay, the more you read, the more you understand, and then it builds up your skills of writing. Okay, and you actually learn a lot of things about your connectors. All right, so apart from the listening part, and I emphasize one more time again, apart from the summarized spoken test, it's very important for your listening and writing. And another important part is about your highlight correct summary. On top of that, don't ignore the highlight select missing word, which is the one that has beeping sound. So the method of select missing word is quite similar to the way that you select the summary. It's really, really, really similar. If you understand the way that we do the summaries, try to go to YouTube or other website. There are so many sources. Try to practice. I actually encourage you guys start to practice by using the PT official practice textbooks. One is called Test Plus and another one called Test Builder and official guide. So they are really good practice sources. It actually makes you understand a better way how you actually get examined. And apart from that, don't ignore the select missing word. It's important for your entire listening mark. And on top of that, obviously, fill in blanks is important. And please make sure that you practice your write from dictation. It's super, super important. That's the second most important task after you summarize spoken test. Okay, so this is our listening part. Now let's get back to our, let's talk about our writing part. Writing part is the second task in the exam. And writing is something that is not super difficult in this PT exam. Honestly, it is something that's super easy. So I'm from an Asia culture, right? So I believe a lot of you guys are from like we are similar background. From Asia, or our culture teaches us to study very hard, memorize a lot of things. So if you're from this kind of environment, I guarantee your writing will be good. So you only need to memorize 2 templates. One is the environmental problem essay. One is your argumentative essay. That's it. So you only need to remember 2 essay questions. That will do. Okay. Now let's talk about the question that about your. Okay, Santosh. Santosh has a question. So the question was like this: in writing session, while writing essay, if you use a lot of delete and backspace key, will that impact on my written score? So there are 2 scenarios. Listen very carefully. Whether it's in writing, or in writing an essay, or you're writing a summary, or you're writing a summarized written task or spoken test. So when you write, it happens to us. We might type the, and we realize instead of THE, we actually type THW. Then it's a wrong spelling, right? So we come back, we use backspace, we fix it, and not a problem. So when you fix this 1 word or 2 words, small fix, you will have a lower spelling marks. You will have a lower spelling marks, but doesn't have lower writing marks. So your spelling marks might be low, but your writing marks will never be less. So when you have small delete, small fixing of your current words, it's like let's say globalized, GLOBALIZED. But however, when you type, you write GLOBIZED. So you realize, oh, I missed some letters, or I come back to fix it. Not a problem. So under this case, you don't lose any mark for your writing. Understand? Okay. The second part is you actually lose your writing mark if you delete a longer sentence or even a paragraph, in particular in your writing essay session. So what happens is, if in the writing essay parts, you saw this question asking you, say, natural reserves are in danger. Who do you think should be responsible to solve this problem? It's government, private sectors. And you realize, okay, natural reserves should be problematic essay. And then you start to type, okay, problematic. Halfway in the second paragraph, you realize, oh my God, this is about natural reserves. There is nothing related to carbon dioxide or cars or factories or, a methane. You realize, oh my God, this is wrong. It should be a argumentative essay. And then what you did was you deleted 2 paragraphs and you start to rewrite a argumentative essay. Under this case, yes, you are getting your penalty mark for your essay. Okay, so hope that makes sense for you. So if you want to delete something, small fixing is okay. And also, every time when you see your spelling mark is low, doesn't mean you only had your backspace problem. I guarantee you have a lot of problems is that you typed something and you realized, oh, it was actually correct, but you couldn't realize your problem because we're so used to use technology. Organization, you might write ORGINASCHION. It's still correct for you because it looks quite similar. So when you have a lower spelling mark, make sure that every time when you write something, when you type something, whether it's your summary or your essay, make sure that you write without using any autocorrection. In that case, you can improve the skill of spelling. Okay. So, okay, that's one question about your essay. Another question is about summarize written task. Okay. So we have questions in here about, okay, so Kamal, you have your question about you got 3 summarized written tasks in the exam, and 1 out of the 3 is very complex and it's really difficult for you. You don't know what to do. So it does happen to us in the exam, and I believe a lot of you guys might hear it here and there that summarized spoken test, a summarized written task is super easy. You only need to copy 3 sentences. First sentence, middle sentence, last sentence, put them together, you're done. I think you will be really done for your 79 because if you're super lucky, you are going to get a passage, yes, first sentence, middle sentence, last sentence, you actually get on the right spot. You're correct then because you're lucky, you just get it. But some of us, or not everyone is super lucky, right? So if you get a passage, it's quite difficult, and your actually key content words is not in the topics and not the first sentence, not the middle one, not the last one. And in this case, then you get everything's wrong. So I draw the picture for you again. So I hope this will have a better explanation how you do this. So whether you have a easy task, easy passage, or you have a difficult passage, so the easiest way for you to do is, this is a task, summarize written task, that what you have is, you actually have either 2 or 3 tasks in the exam. For this task, you do share your marks with your writing. So you get these marks, half of your mark goes to your writing, half of your marks goes to your reading. Think about it, guys. If something goes to your reading, what do you need to do? Do you have to read, or you simply just need to think about it in your mind or look at it? Read doesn't mean look at it. So I'm currently looking at you. Am I reading you? No. So in the same question, summarize written task is something that you share your marks for your reading. Obviously, please read that passage. If you don't read that passage, how do you know which part is important, which part is not important? You have total 10 minutes. I guarantee a lot of you guys in front of this laptop or your laptop, it was like, oh, you know what? I always finish my tasks in 5 minutes. And I guarantee what you did was pick any random 2 or 3 sentences and you left the exam center. If you're lucky, you get your score, but I don't think that's a higher chances of getting a score, okay? So first of all, you have 10 minutes. Please use your 9 minutes or 8 minutes. What is the rush about life? So you don't need to rush for extra 5 or 2 minutes. Just keep yourself calm, finish your exam. So use 8 or 9 minutes. And the first thing first you need to do is use 1 or 2 minutes to read that passage. Make sure that you have a rough understanding about what is that, okay? And then after that, you have my method now, okay? Sometimes in the exam, you have 1 paragraph. When you simply have 1 paragraph like this, what you need to do is you go to look for the first 3 full stops. So I draw the line for you. It doesn't mean it's the first 3 lines. It's the first 3 full stops here. So here first, okay, and here, and here, okay. So it's the first 3 full stops. That means the first 3 sentences. So you do this process in your mind, because we are not able to separate the exam text in the exam center. So the first 3 sentences, and then the middle part, and the last 3 sentences. So you break your passage into 3 parts. First 3 sentences, middle part, and the last 3 sentences. Do you agree, guys? Every single paragraph has a topic sentence, and every single paragraph has a conclusion. Every single graph has a body explanation. That's what you need. So the first 3 sentences will have a topic sentence. It doesn't mean it has to be a 1 sentence. Within the first 3 sentences, you might need 1 of the sentence, or sometimes you actually need 3 of them, but you need parts of the 3 sentences. You need to find out the keywords, okay? So you need 1 topic sentence from the first 3 sentences, and you need 1 sentence from the conclusion sentence, which is the last 3 sentences. So the conclusion part is normally very easy to find. It's just something that's quite conclusive. I believe you understand what is conclusive. And then the key part is your body part. You all be good with topic and conclusion, but the middle part you messed up because you don't understand what is this body explanation. Okay, the body explanation is something that, keep in mind, you need to look for something new contents. Again, so if there's a passage talks about here, so we do have certain, there is 1 exam question about, let's say, Pascalina Flori, right? So at the beginning, they talks about there is a girl, she was living in Nambia, so she used to herd a goat, and her work was unpaid, and she used to protect wildlife from different wildlife. So under this case, what you need to do is to find out your topic. You know, there's a person's name, Pascalina, was herding goat, she was unpaid, and she was protecting wildlife. That's it. So in the middle part, and then they will start to mention about, okay, there are some new contents about indigenous residents support her idea. So these contents actually been mentioned before. Supporting her idea was protect the wildlife. So this is not something new, and we don't need this part. And however, in the middle part, the passage was mentioning something about she actually built a career and she became a manager. She got help from government. So this is something new. We never know these contents compared to the first topic. So under this case, that keep these contents. Those are new information and you need it, and there will be your supporting part in the body. And then come to the conclusion part. It's a summary of the overall ideas, and you will be able to find something that is quite conclusive. Okay, so I believe this is very clear for you. So make sure the first 3 sentences, the middle part, and the last 3 sentences, you will be able to have your contents. If this is a simple task, it's very easy, but somehow the task can be very difficult. If the passage is really difficult, what you need to do is every time when you read a sentence, you try to keep a sentence as your explanation or your conclusion or your topic from a sentence that has the minimum pronouns. Because every time when you have a pronoun, the information has been mentioned before. So you need to keep that in sentence that has minimum pronoun. That means that was the first time mentioning, okay? And if it's still difficult, read one sentence and read the second sentence. Ask yourself, does the current sentence has the similar information that we mentioned before? If yes, then you don't need the second sentence. If no, then you keep the second sentence, okay? All right, so this is under case that when you have one paragraph like this, but sometimes you have multiple paragraphs. When you have multiple paragraphs in the exam, what you need to do is it's easier than the one paragraph because they already separate the paragraph. So if the first paragraph, you just consider the first paragraph as your topic sentence, you just need to simplify the contents. And the last paragraph will be your conclusion. Again, you simplify the contents. So you don't need all the detailed explanation or everything. And the middle part, you might have in the middle 1 or 2 paragraphs. It's very simple. You read the topic sentence and conclusion sentence of each paragraph and choose the one that doesn't repeat each other. So leave the topic sentences of the ones that doesn't repeat each other, and then you're done. So this is very simple. Your format is, this is your multiple paragraphs. So you choose first paragraph, last paragraph, and the middle paragraphs. Keep the new contents only. And this is what happened when you have one paragraph, okay? Okay, so I hope this is very clear for you guys for your summarized written task. Okay, so I have done the essay part. Okay, so from next week, you guys will receive some YouTube videos about how to do the fill in blanks on the YouTube. I will take some detailed real exam fill in blanks to do some practices with you guys and explain to you in details how to do that. And also the summarized written task, I will take some examples, the 40 samples from our students, and I'll explain to you about certain mistakes that you're making and also about certain real exam questions about essays, examples, and answers. Okay, that's the writing part. Now let's talk about your reading part. I believe all of us, we hate reading unless you are someone that you love reading and you are still studying at university and you always get high distinction, then you will love reading, because reading, end of the day, is not difficult. And think about the reading. Reading is something that you don't get reading mark just from reading. You actually get reading mark from reading, from speaking, from listening. That means reading is actually not difficult. There are 3 sessions support your reading. That means take it easy, relax, okay? And give yourself a big smile. Okay, let's start from your reading. Okay, so Yamini, okay. If I pronounce your name wrong, I do apologize for that. Okay, so you need some tapes. A lot of you guys need tapes for filling blanks. Okay, in the reading part, the most important question, yes, it's about your filling blanks. And the most difficult one is your filling blanks drop down. The drop down one is super difficult and it's really long. What happens is it does share your marks to your writing and also your reading. So the most important thing for you guys to understand this part is don't stress yourself. It does require a lot of practice and understanding. So first of all, in the exam condition, it does happen for your first task, which is very good because you can finish this important task first. And what you need to do is in the exam, you limit yourself. Don't spend more than 3 minutes on this task because you still need to save your time for the other part. So the most important thing is use your time wise. So first of all, read the topic sentence of each paragraph. So read the topic sentence of each paragraph. You will understand roughly what does this passage about. And then afterwards, what you need to do is to check the blank. So check where you have the blank and read that current sentence with the blank. Read the entire sentence with the blank, because under this case, you will have a background knowledge about what is this background about with that blank. And then apart from that, you check the options, the possible options you have. You normally have 4 options, and those 4 options, they normally give you a few situations. So one, they give you 3 synonyms, and they give you 1 word that looks really odd and difficult, different compared to the others. And the other situations, they give you 2 synonyms, and those 2 groups are having different meanings. And another scenario is they give you 2 words that you know the meaning, and 2 other words that you have no idea what does this mean. So under this case, let's solve these scenarios. Okay, so whether which scenarios you have in this task, because you share your marks to your writing, that means you need to choose a word that has the most precise meaning for that particular sentence. So you need to be able to differentiate the synonyms. So for synonyms is easy. So the easiest one for you is to pick the one that has fancy meaning in it. What I mean fancy meaning is more like when you look at the words, you are like, wow, this is really complicated. So you choose that complicated word first, because normally that blank requires a word has stronger strings for that. This is under a case that you actually understand the word, the meaning. And sometimes when you have like 2 or 3 words that you know the meaning, but you have 1 or 2 words that it looks really odd, quite difficult. So you ignore the difficult ones first and starting with the one that you know. If those 2 are synonyms, again, choose the one that has more meaning, has multiple meaning, than one that is fancy. If the word that somehow that you realize, I'm not really sure about the meaning, very simple. What you need to do is put the possible answer into that blank respectively and read that current sentence in your mind. Mumble. Don't read aloud, because it's a reading session. If you read aloud, they're going to take you out of the exam center. So put the possible answer in the blank respectively and read aloud each once, and choose the one that sounds more fluent and sounds more familiar for you. And in another case is you do have 2 options that you know the meaning, and you know one is wrong, but you have this one might be correct. But out of the 4 options, you have 2 that you know the meaning. You have 2 is like, oh my God, I don't know the meaning. What is that? So under this case, what are you going to do? So first of all, you check, do you have parts of the word that you know the meaning? So if you have certain parts of the word that you know the meaning, then it's easy. Let's say if you have pastorate. So this word is spelled like P-E-S-T-E-R-E-D. A lot of us, we don't know what does pastorate means, right? So it's like, what is this? But you know pest, P-E-S-T. If you know the meaning of pest, then that is easy, because pest has the ending part changes. When you see a word that you know the original meaning of that word, but somehow the ending part changes. The ending part changes doesn't change the meaning. They will keep the original meaning. So they will only do certain slight variation. Understand this case? So if you see pastorate, it's something related to pest. Pest is something that, let's think about a cockroach. It's something really gross and you're annoying. Something like really annoys you, like it's disgusting. So they had this kind of meaning in it. So this is an example that when you know the word, but somehow the ending part has variations, the meaning doesn't change much. So you can guess the meaning from that. But somehow you know the word, but the beginning part starts to change. So if the word changed in the beginning, for example, you had or you had z, this kind of word change, the meaning still doesn't change. I give you an example, ground or a ground. So there's a word called ground. Everyone knows ground. It's the ground that you step on. But if there's a word called a ground, some of us, we don't know what is a ground. But think about it, it's a ground. It has to be something related to the ground, okay? So similar meaning. But somehow, if the beginning of the word changes, so for example, if the word starting from UN, I am, IL, if the word starting from UN, IL, I am, U, DIS, DES, DE, that means those words will have negative meaning. So make sure that you guess the opposite of the original word that you know. But if there are certain words that ended with, like say, you have certain variations that help you to differentiate what kind of category they are. They are nouns or adjectives or the verb. So you need to be able to differentiate that, because that will help you a lot to decide which word has more precise meaning for that particular blank. Because in most of the case, that in the fill in blank, drag and drop down fill in blanks, it tests your vocabulary, the level of testing the knowledge about the different level strengths of your vocabulary. So we normally choose the fancy one, or you can say it's more academic one, or the one that has more precise meaning. Okay, so as for the more detailed fill in blanks, we will discuss more from the YouTube videos. And I hope this will help you a little bit more, at least for your fill in blanks drop down. As for the drag and drop, I don't want to discuss in here today too much, because you will get confused for both of them. Okay, so we'll discuss this one from the YouTube or from the next week's session. And then you have another question about the recording classroom session. So I think should be ready soon. Or if not, then we will put that into the YouTube explanation of the real exam questions. Okay, apart from that, about your reading, I think that's all we have about your reading question. Okay, now let's talk about your, what is it called? Your repeat sentence, which is something related to your speaking. Okay, let's do this quickly. So in the speaking part, a lot of you guys say how to improve my pronunciation mark. So first of all, pronunciation matters not only about the correctness of the pronunciation, it's also about your volume, your loudness, and also the speed. So in the speaking part, a lot of you guys say, okay, it is about fluency, so I need to be as fast as I can. It's not about speedy. When you talk too fast, your word will not be recognized by the computer, then wrong. So you will have a less pronunciation mark, because your pronunciation for the computer is unrecognized, it's too fast. Okay, now you say, okay, then I'm going to talk very slow. Again, same, if you talk extremely slow, you are going to lose your reading mark. At the same time, you are going to have bad pronunciation mark, because every word that you pronounce, because it's slow, the computer will recognize as two words. For example, there's a word called disproportionately. If you talk too slow, you say disproportionately. For the computer will recognize this as three words: disproportionately. So when you talk too slow, you will still have your pronunciation problems. So make sure that you talk in a normal speed, like a human being. So don't trick the computer like something so stupid. I know it is stupid, but not too stupid. It's still, we set it up, the system, right? So talk in a random space. At the same time, if you are guys normally doesn't have these pronunciation problems. So you just need to make sure that you put your microphone not too close to your mouth or your nose, because you might create air sound. If you are someone talk, you have a really strong pronunciation. So for example, I normally talk in Chinese with my friend. So the way of Chinese pronunciation is actually heavier when we talk for each word. It sounds really strong. So we are this type of people that we create air sound. For example, we have strong p or person, like say the given presentation, possible, probably. So the p sound is really strong. Those kind of sounds are the air sound. If you are someone create air sound, make sure that your microphone is not too far away from you. It's not too close to your mouth. It's like 4 fingers away. So upper lips, 4 fingers away. So if you can see, upper lips, 4 fingers away. So if you're guys, maybe your fingers a bit thicker, is upper lips 3 fingers away. You can put over here upper lips or slightly under the lower lips, but not too far away from here. Okay, so that will help you for your pronunciation. So in the exam condition, a lot of you guys actually try to fix the microphone like this. You go to the exam center, the first thing you did is like, so make the microphone really close to you. That's wrong, because what if you have air sound? Then you couldn't recognize yourself. Okay, so 4 fingers away or 3 fingers away. And after that, another thing about your pronunciation is you have this extremely low voice or high pitch. So girls from Nepal or certain parts of the girls from India, you have a light voice, or girls from China like me. I have been doing my best to improve my volume. It is hard, but it can improve a lot. So first of all, to improve the volume, you need to talk loud. At the same time, you need to make sure that your face is working, not The given presentation is the given presentation. You need to talk, make sure that your face is moving. And secondly, if you talk like someone like say this, regarding highlight the correct summary in listening, can you repeat the last part of the tip? If you are someone talk like this, unfortunately, yes, you need to work on your pronunciation because you are talking the pitch is too high. It doesn't matter how loud you are because your pitch is high, you're not able to get recognized. So make sure that you lower your tone. It's like regarding highlight the correct summary in listening, can you repeat the last part of the tip? So it's make sure something the sound is from inside, not just from your throat. If you feel your throat is very sore, that means your method is not right. And then on top of that, for your pronunciation, there are certain techniques that I can teach you, but I'm going to teach you at the really end of this session. Okay, so in the exams part, the speaking part is happened something that you do the speaking part with a lot of other students together. So unfortunately, it can be loud at a certain center. So what you need to do is, if some other students are really loud, so you can do this. You can hold the microphone like this because it helps you to concentrate a little bit more, and you can hear yourself very loud. If it's not helping under this case, what you need to do is tell yourself you need to be louder than the other person, because if you're not loud enough, what happens to you is, if you're not loud, you get distracted by other people. If you are loud enough, you concentrate on yourself only. Okay, so be loud. And another one, if you want to overcome this distraction problem, the best way of practice at home is to, if you guys like any movies or films, what you can do is you have two methods. If you're someone that not speak Chinese, it's very easy. You go to search on YouTube any Chinese dramas or movies, open that as your background when you practice, because you can hear someone is talking but you don't understand. If you are someone, yes, you are Chinese, or maybe you can open another a Bollywood video or a movie or something. Just listen something that you don't understand, but it's quite noisy and loud, and then that helps you to practice your concentration skills. Or in the worst case, I told you before, you can YouTube the noise, 10 hours noise working in the office. That will help you as well. So whenever you practice your speaking, set up a background noise. So in that case, it helps you to concentrate and to be loud at the same time. Because when you practice at home, like if you are in an environment like what I'm having now, it's quite quiet. So I feel like I'm extremely loud. If you open a background noise, then I will be louder than this. So make sure that you practice with a noise. And then apart from that is your, let me see. Okay, apart from it, that is your answer short question. So in the answer short question, if we given wrong answers and suddenly we realize it was known, you know the current correct answer, should you answer it back or not? So this is from Kamal. So you probably had this situation. So the question asking you, say, name a country's name in the Southern Hemisphere. And you said America, and you realize, oh my God, should be Australia. So under this case, yes, sure, you can fix it. So if I say the question, name a country's name in the Southern Hemisphere, the answer is America. Oh no, it's actually Australia. It's fine, you can fix yourself. You just need to keep yourself calm. But however, if you say the answer is America, no, it's Australia. Under this case, unfortunately, yes, you are going to lose your fluency mark because you get stressed out. So keep yourself calm and correct yourself. And a little bit of extra content in the answer short question, because you don't know when the audio gets started recording you. Sometimes you're stressed, you might not be able to recognize when the audio start to record. So what you can do is, I encourage you to say it's. So if the answer, you know the answer, you just say it's Australia, it's New Zealand. If you don't know, somehow you know I need a little bit time to think about an answer. What you can say is, the answer of this question is something related to. For me, I know, I need a little bit time to think about which country located at the Southern Hemisphere. I say, I believe the answer of this question is something related to Australia or New Zealand, because it takes my time, so I just say a little bit longer, okay? Because if you say too fast for one word, sometimes when the recording starts too fast or too early, you might only get recorded half of your correct answer. In that case, it's not good for your score. Okay, now next one. Next question is about, so Kamal, I answered all your questions, and Okay, next one is okay. So the reorder paragraph I'll talk about later on. Okay, and then I have Kuram. Kuram, according to your score report, you're actually getting very good in reading, listening, writing, but somehow your speaking is not right. So I have a few scenarios. So first of all, your speaking, your overall fluency is 49, and your pronunciation is 74. That means your loudness, your pronunciation, everything is okay. But somehow your overall fluency is only 49. So there are a few possible scenarios, because I didn't know that what happens to you in the exam. If your previous score is always more than 90, then it's technical issue. If your previous score had experienced 40 or 60-ish, then it's normal. And think about this time, did anything happen during your repeat sentence? Were you experiencing a lot of long sentences and you wasn't able to repeat fluently, or under the condition of your retail lectures? Did you pauses a lot by reading your notes, or you certain points that you couldn't able to read your notes? You had a lot of like next section. If you have certain problem like this, then yes, you are going to have your problems about your overall fluency, and the main problem about your speaking is lower this time is your overall fluency problem. You either talk too slow about your read aloud, or you missed certain repeat sentences. You might had difficult repeat sentences, or you couldn't repeat it fluently, or you had any gaps in the middle. Okay, apart from that, you don't have any other problems, obviously, from your score report. And then, okay, for Janti, you have problems about how to work on your overall fluency. So overall fluency is not something difficult. It's actually very simple to improve. For the overall fluency, I encourage you to work on your describe image first, because it is relatively easy. You just need to remember your format and keep on practicing. If you haven't memorized your format, you need to work on that. You need to practice every day 20 describe image. And after that, you need to practice a lot of your read aloud. Read aloud to make sure that you have a moderate speed. Like, for example, I show you. So if you do your read aloud too fast, and then I mentioned before how bad it was, make sure that your read aloud is normal. Like, yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms, and babies cry more in yellow rooms. So same like this kind of fluency is good for you. When you do your overall fluency practice, make sure that you record yourself and you listen yourself. If you have certain recording, like you have this kind of pauses, is absolutely no for this exam. So you need to eliminate this kind of pauses. So you need to have minimum recording gaps when you practice your fluency. On top of that, the major part for fluency is actually your repeat sentence. Make sure that you need to practice your repeat sentences. Try to listen and repeat. Don't take notes unless you really, really need to. We will talk a little bit more about the repeat sentence notes. So we don't normally encourage you to take notes unless you're someone that impossible for you to remember everything. Then you take a little bit of last 2 or 3 words. In most of the case, you just remember whatever from the question and you repeat whatever from your mind and use the mumble skill. As for the mumble skill, I think I have another question from Mimic. Is about, I couldn't find it. Here we go. Yamini. So you have questions about how to do the mimic technique. So if you have a question about all writers are consciously or unconsciously representing their own cultures. So what you can hear, this sentence is not too long. So you are capable of remembering all the words until the ending part. So under this case, you just do that. So all writers are consciously or unconsciously representing unconscious. That's it. So you just need to do that, because you hear the last part somehow is like shurs. So under this case, you just need to mumble. So I repeat one more time. All writers unconsciously or consciously representing their cultures. That's it. Okay. So under the case that you are capable of remembering 8 words, then just remember as much as you can. Mumble at words really end. But somehow you have a sentence is extremely long, like this. A lot of people up till now spending a lot of money needs to be careful with their money. So if this sentence is extremely long that we are not able to remember everything, so what you need to do is remember the phrases and then use your mimic skills. What kind of phrases do you have? A lot of people spending a lot of money, careful with their money. That's all you need to remember. Okay, that's it. So you need to do this. A lot of people are not spending a lot of money, need to be careful with their money. So that's it. So mumble skill, mimic is something that you don't practice every day, you're going to forget in the second day. So you need to practice every single day, but you don't practice your repeat sentence simply with mumble skills. So I see a lot of students do this. The sentence is so short. Professor Smith is going to be late for today's lecture. What you guys did is, Professor Smith, no, today's lecture. Unfortunately, this is not going to work. So when you practice, push yourself a little bit harder. Try to repeat everything that you can. In the worst case, then you can use other skills, okay? And on top of that is your, okay, another thing about your repeat sentence. What I found is a lot of students are actually having problems in the repeat sentence. So this is something extra for you guys. Repeat sentence, you normally have these two things in front of you. So one is playing recording, one is recording for you. So normally when you see this, you have 3 seconds before the audio starts. And once the audio starts, and you will see the recording starting in 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 5 seconds, or 6 seconds. Very simple. So how you can see whether you have longer sentences or shorter sentences. So what you can do is, whenever you see, okay, recording starting in 5 seconds or 6 seconds, your sentence is normally less than 12 words. It's normally short. So you should be happy. You can remind yourself, okay, it's not too difficult. You might need to write the last 2 words if your capacity of your brain is like full. If you are able, like the all writers consciously and unconsciously representing their own cultures. If the sentence is a bit longer, you feel like, oh my God, couldn't remember that much, just write down the last 2 or 3 words and plus use your mumble skill, okay? But somehow, if you see the recording bar say recording in 9 seconds or 10 seconds, that means you are going to have a little bit longer sentence. That means you can tell yourself, anyhow, I need to mumble. Then halfway of the audio, think about it. What is the first 4 words? What is the middle words? What is the last word? Then you have to use your mumble skill. Make sure that when you mumble, you don't do this. A lot of people up to now, I'm not spending a lot of money, needs to be careful with their money. Under this case, unfortunately, it's not going to work. You still lose your fluency, so you need to be very fluent when you do your mumble skill, okay? So a lot of people are not spending a lot of money, needs to be careful with their money, okay? And another thing is, nowadays, I don't think they give you the sound, the beeping sound, to tell you when they start to record. So under this case, that when you see the recording start in a certain seconds, and you see the recording bars came out a little bit, and then you start to talk. Otherwise, the first word might not get recorded, or the first 2 words might not get recorded. Under this case, you will have a really low listening mark. So make sure that you see the recording bar coming out a tiny little bit, and then you start to talk, okay? All right, so that's that one. And then another thing about Asim, you have problems about your reorder paragraphs. So you said you always get either all correct or you either get all wrong. So I believe you are using a method because you're using the meaning to match each other. If you are someone to try to use all the meanings of each sentence to match each other, then what happens is you either get all correct or you get all of them wrong. So why is that? Because you started to understand the meaning based on your understanding. Because if you understanding things, sometimes it's simple, it's easy, you understand everything. But somehow when the audio, when the information is really complicated, you start to analyze, you think outside of the box, you think outside of the paper, and then you get everything wrong. So the easiest way for you to do the reorder is, think about this. Reorder paragraph is the option that you have. You either have 4 sentences or 5 sentences. Think about it yourself. This is all my options I have. I have either 4 options or 5 options. I need to think within those options, not outside of the box. So I need to use each sentence. I need to use one sentence, read that sentence. I understand what does this sentence tell me, to use that as a mirror to match with other sentence. Does this one match with this one? Similar contents? No. If no, not. If there are, okay, there's another sentence mentioned a similar thing, but somehow in a different way, then that will be the correct one. So try not to think too much. At the same time, the easiest way for you to use is to use your proper noun or connectors like ate, stay, she, hey, or however what is called yet, but, although. As for the details, I actually have a reorder YouTube on our Dream English YouTube website. So if you go look for that one, I believe you will learn a little bit more about how to do the reorder paragraph. So don't think too much for your reorder. Think in a think smaller. Okay, if you think too much outside of the box, it's too much. Okay, apart from that, I said today, because of everything went bad last night of the internet, to give you guys something very special about your pronunciation part in your speaking, and this will be our last session. So first of all, if you guys like this live session, please follow us, subscribe us on the YouTube, or give us a thumb up. Then we will obviously we'll post more audios and videos for you guys, and we will give you a lot of real exam questions or formats. If you have any questions or comments, please leave in the comments and follow us on the Facebook. And now I'm going to give you guys around 20 seconds. If you like, or give a thumb up, and I will share with you the rest of the tips that I'm going to give you. Yeah, I'm waiting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in the speaking part, there are several situations happened. Is you might have you might have pronunciation problem. Okay, so when you have pronunciation problem, what you need to do is when you are our students, it's easier because we can actually give you advice in according to which one is better, which one is not good for you, according to your situation. To be honest, for this exam, there are a lot of tips and tricks for a lot of other stuffs, but somehow everyone have different method, because we all different end of the day, so different method applies to different of you. So one of the method about your pronunciation is, well, voice is too low, so you try to use this. So I have a microphone in front of you, so I'm going to do a test for you. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm still waiting, so you guys can still subscribe and give a thumb up, and then watching you, then maybe I'll give you a little bit more information today. Okay. Okay, so let's do this way. So in the exam, first of all, you check your microphone. The microphone should be upper lip a little bit over here. Oh, okay, should be over here somehow. So it's 4 fingers away in here. So when you do this, first of all, you can do one of the position is you're using this way. So if you're from China, I can use Chinese to explain to you. 喇叭式的放在嘴边 ，OK， 就可以这样子大声的说。如果 if you're someone from India or somewhere, so this position is called 90 degree bent curl, this way. So it has to be close in here, okay? So put basically it's a pyramid, and put your thumb under your chin, and use your third finger to put your microphone through the third finger. And then you do this way. It's like the way that you go out outside and talk to your friend in the open air. Your friend is really far away from you, like this. So this is a very good method for you to practice your pronunciation, because it increases your deepness of your sound. So I can do one example for you. Yellow is the most optimistic color. So when I do this, yellow is the most optimistic color. You can hear it. It's not that loud, but it's deep. So that's one method for you. Another method is sometimes it's not working for you. So what you need to do is, depends on your sound. Some of the sound is actually go out like this way. Some of us, the sound is go out like this way. If this way is not working for you, you have to try in this way. So somehow you need to stop your sound from here. So you need to do a little like treasure hand, like this, and put it right in front of the microphone. And when you talk, you can feel that it is actually sounds much deeper than that. Okay, so those are my tips for you guys, and so hope this will help you. And we are in 2019, and I hope every one of you guys get 90 or 79 plus, and I hope all of you guys get whatever you want in this new year, and all the best to everyone. If you have any questions or comments, or any questions about the exam, or any help that you need from us, please post your questions in the Facebook, or you post your questions or problems in the comments on the YouTube. If you like this, subscribe us. If you have any feedback, let us know. I will be very happy to improve and to help you guys out. And the more videos about real exam questions of reading, reorder, blanks, and also about your essays and summaries will come next week. And also we will share with you respectively about the mock test of reading and also the mock test of the speaking and also the listening part. Okay, so those are all extras for you guys for next week, and I hope all you guys all the best for the weekend and have fun. Thank you. Bye bye. Ah.